Hello plastic model builders. Wanted to give you a little video about this Jaguar XKE E-Type that is available right now at Ollies. As I mentioned before about Ollies being kind of a treasure hunt, they have closeout and other oddball stuff. So sometimes you can find things there at a pretty good price. In this case, this Jaguar kit is $12.99, so that's considerably cheaper than you would find elsewhere, and it is a Revel kit. Now when I saw this kit on the shelf, it kind of shocked me because I've never seen this on the shelf anywhere else. I think I have seen it on the Revel page or something where I could have ordered it directly from Revel and paid full price and paid shipping and all that, which didn't really suit me because I tend to just buy things when they're cheap. But in this case, I saw this kit there, and it really brought back memories because this was one of the earliest kits, one of the earliest of the glue together kits that I built as a kid. I had this model. It was probably about the fourth or so, maybe fifth-ish plastic model car kit I had built. I had built a number of airplanes. I was mostly into airplanes and still kind of am, but I built some cars in between, and this ended up being one of them. Now, the ones I built before this one, I kind of did some screwy stuff. I mean, I was just brush painting everything, and so I tried to gloss paint a body or two using the gloss paints that just come in the standard kits. Oh, probably most of you guys had the same thing way back then. You got a model kit, and then you bought that little set of paints that had, about 6 or 8 different colors, and a thinner, and a brush, and a bottle of gloss clear. Well, I'd never used the gloss clear for anything, and I guess I was kind of running out of other colors at this point too, probably. And so I thought, well, what the heck, let's try this gloss clear. And I gloss cleared the whole thing. And that ended up looking way better than any of my painted finishes had before. And I guess I did just good enough on the interior and stuff, maybe a little better than I'd done before. So the whole car ended up being kind of considerably better looking than anything I had done before. So I was really kind of proud of it at the time. Thought it was kind of exciting. This was starting to look decent instead of looking like crap whenever I built them, But the body was red. That was the thing about it, is that when I pulled it out of the package, the body was molded in red along with some of the other parts. And so that gave me the option to just go ahead and paint it over in clear. And that certainly worked out better since I wasn't a spray can user at that time. But anyway, you've seen the front. I've shown you the side here while I was telling you the story. We'll go to, basically these ends are just showing the same thing as the top. So we'll go to the bottom, I guess this is, the bottom of the, whatever you want to call it. And we'll try to zoom in so you can see that a little better. You can stop the video and read this if you want to. But this is a fairly detailed kit. They're showing 142 parts. So I remember I did have to struggle with quite a bit of stuff on this one, but I managed to get it all together as a kid and was pretty happy that I did. I didn't notice at the time, or didn't know at the time, and they're just showing this now, but they're calling this a skill level 5. Whoops, oh, come on now. Well, let's get some focus here. They're showing it to be a skill level 5. So that's obviously, I think that's the top level skill level. And it's also a 1/24th scale model, which is one of the things that gets me excited because I generally prefer 1/24th to the 1/25ths. It seems like the 1/24ths are a bit rarer overall. Like when you go to the store and you start looking at models, the majority of them are 1/25s, not 1/24s. And I tend to prefer the 1/24s. I know it's not much of a difference, but somehow that slight extra size is really helpful for me. And with those little tiny fiddly bits, just being that tiny bit larger seems to help. I think I forgot to show this paint guide, so we're going to show this. If I already showed it, sorry. And you get a little bit of a warning or something, more information down here. But there we go. Let's have a look at what's inside the box. That's probably going to be more exciting, right? And here we go. Alright, so on top we have, so the body is molded in red, I can tell already, spoiler alert. But on top here we have our chrome parts. And those look pretty cool. They give you a lot of chrome stuff here. Especially these wheels, these wire wheels look pretty neat. You can probably put some, what do they call it, that black stuff that kind of washes in between in order to make the chrome spokes really stand out. You've got some intake manifold stuff, and it looks really neat. You get a lot of chrome parts, but you can probably tell how small some of these parts are. Goodness, no wonder I remember having kind of a fight as I was building this. This is a lot of little tiny parts. Holy cow. You even get a little tiny windshield wipe. Well, that's not helping any. What if I bring it this way? No? So I mean, there's even little tiny windshield wipers and all kinds of little tiny parts there. That's looks like a difficult build. So I can see why I struggled with it as a kid, especially. I've got a feeling I'm going to be struggling with it now too. And here we have our clear parts. And I think you can't really see that too well, sorry, but I'm trying to throw a bunch of light on it. Maybe that's not helping. But you got your windshields and lenses and all that stuff in there. And then here we've got some body stuff, and maybe this is another reason why this car was difficult, is because this body is in a couple of different pieces, and you've got a separate hood and all this. But it is red, just like I remember as a kid. I think that's pretty cool. I'll probably do it the same way and just clear coat the whole thing. Clear coat the red and let it roll. And here we got some other parts, and this is interesting because some of them are gray and some of them are red. So we've got some red chassis parts. We've got some red chassis parts and other associated stuff, and I don't know if you can tell, but this stuff down here gets really, really thin, and that's definitely why I was having troubles with it. You got some tiny little suspension parts and all up here. I mean, that stuff is super thin. This car has a lot of detail to it. And then you got some interior parts here in gray. And then we got the main parts here where we get a whole bunch of gray stuff. And wow, I mean, this thing is super detailed. Almost every little piece that they could make separate has been made separate. That's pretty cool for people that enjoy the details. You got your exhaust system and all kinds of different front suspension parts, motor parts, exhaust system parts. All these things are separate, which a lot of kits have them just in one piece. But this is a whole bunch of separate little parts. You can see your seats over here, steering wheel, valve covers, intakes, and other manifolds, fan, shrouds, etc. Transmission. Lots and lots of parts. Yeah, and here we got the tires. They do give you some rubber tires in this one. Compared to modern cars, these tires look so narrow. But they look pretty good. I think they'll make for a good kit. And now we get to the instructions. That's a nice picture right there. Well, let's see if we can make it stand up, huh? Well, that doesn't look too good, but it is, I guess, the best we can do right now. Maybe that's a little better with less light shining on it to glare. So we got your Jaguar E-Type picture. Nice looking picture. And we've got this stuff down here. We'll let you read if you like. You can stop the video and take a look at all these things. And then we'll go inside. See what we got here. Oh wow, this is actually a colorful. Let me look. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is actually done with some colors to it. Wow. So I guess they've completely redone this instruction manual from the original kit, because I definitely don't remember it being in color. It was just your regular line drawings back then. But I think this may be some standard stuff that maybe they're showing this on all the newer kits. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. You guys can have a look at it up close and zoom in and stuff if there's anything in here that you're interested in. And we'll take a look. Well, oh boy, there's just more of this. Okay, it's all different languages. Goodness, well, I think I'm going to skip that. If any of you guys need to read any of this stuff in different languages, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to show you the pages that you're interested in. And so we get to this here, which kind of shows us a bunch of the different parts. And has some more information down there at the bottom. But that's not showing all the parts yet, because we've got more parts over here. So this is the picture showing all these parts. And then we get to the actual building. Let me see if I can support this up here well enough to use the zoom on the camera. Yeah, okay. So here we go, step one. As you're putting some pieces together of the motor, then you go over here to step two, adding some intakes, and oh goodness. Well, sorry folks, I've got the storms approaching and my storm warning is going off again. Sorry about that. I live in Tornado Alley over here, so you got to kind of keep on top of that stuff. So there was step two, putting the accessories and intake and stuff on the motor. We get over here to step three. Let's see, we put some exhaust manifolds and the front stuff onto the motor, the belt drives and pulleys and all. We get over here, not really sure what that is. Looks like maybe some rear suspension. I believe it is. Most of your rear suspension and differential assembly. Then we go over here. This is step 5. And I believe that's installing the rear def assembly into the chassis. We got some more stuff over here for rear. Maybe that's front suspension now. No, that's still rear suspension. And we continue some more suspension work here in step 7. Let's see if I can make that stand up so we can see it. Come on now. I guess I'm going to have to hold it. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom in over here with one hand. Oh, I think I need to turn this light back on too. Okay. There we go. It's actually sitting there. Alright, so here we go, looking at step 7, up close, putting in our shocks and springs. And over here we're putting in some more, well, looks to be like more front suspension stuff. Here we have some exhaust system work, step 9, step 10. Looks like we're putting our motor into the chassis. Step 11, we're installing our exhaust system and trying to get it to match up to the exhaust manifold. And we've got some more suspension stuff over here, it looks like, on step 12. I think step 13 here is showing some front suspension work and for your tie rod and such, and your brakes. And then we install all that into the engine bay area or the chassis on step 14. Step 15 looks like it's going to the firewall, putting some of the little details and stuff onto the firewall area, and then we install the firewall into the chassis in step 16. Step 17, oh boy, what the heck is that? It looks like it's kind of some more suspension linkages that are going on late in the game. I'm not 100% sure. If you know what those are, let me know in the comments. Over here we've got, yeah, more suspension linkaging and such that goes in there. Okay. So this is a pretty detailed kit. I can definitely understand why I was having fits with it as a kid, because I think I'm still going to be having fits with all these tiny little parts. Let's see what we got over here. But if you do it right, it's going to come out looking really nice. Here we get some more top-end engine stuff. Let me push this back a little bit. Maybe that helps. More top-end engine stuff. It looks like the air cleaner and carburetors. Over here, not really sure what that is. Maybe some kind of catch can and such. Here we got some more carburetor stuff. At least I think that's what that is. I'm not 100% sure about all this now. That looks kind of odd. But there's your step 22. And your step 23. As we're putting all these little catch cans and associated stuff into the engine bay. Now, in some of the Revel kits, they usually actually have a part name that they showed out here. I'm guessing that may be on that front sheet that I showed earlier, but it would be helpful if we actually knew what these parts were named sometimes. So this looks like the steering shaft. Down here on step 24, looks like we're putting in the steering box and steering shaft, and then we get over here and put in the battery on step 25. Step 26 is more engine bay details, and then 27 gets you into your fan and radiator. And on step 28, whoops, what did I say? 27 is your fan and radiator, yeah. So we get into 28, and that's kind of installing all that stuff into the engine bay. Looks like a few more details here into the engine bay. Continuing with the details of the engine bay over here, step 30, put your intake and carbs onto the motor. Come over here, what do we got? Looks like the upper core support. Alright, so we get all that together, all that on the chassis, and we go on to the next page. Holy cow, this has got a lot of pages. Don't move on me. Alright, now we're getting into step 32. And this looks like the front steering linkage finally. Some more of the front steering work. And here we have our... Okay, alright. Yeah, so there we have the rest of that and have it installing into the motor area or the under hood area. And then we get into putting on these decals for the dashboard, which was definitely not in the kit that I had as a kid. This is a big improvement, I think. You get all this decal work that you can put in there. Down here on step 35, We get to put in this final steering shaft and steering wheel and pedals, and all that gets installed into your firewall between these next two steps here. Now we get into our shift console. Everybody loves a shift console, right? It's better than just having the shifter sticking up out of the floor. So that is our step 37. We put together most of the stuff for the center console. We get down here, and we have some rear interior parts going together, along with these other interior parts, kind of like, I guess you wouldn't call it a package tray, since there's no rear seats or anything, but whatever you want to call that area back there, that's what you're putting together in this step, along with installing your center console. And we get a couple more details into this interior here. And it looks like we get a little bit more detailing with some decals to dress up the engine compartment in step 41. Goodness, this is a lot of steps. Here we go with step 42. Don't. So in step 42, it looks like we're installing our dashboard. There we go. Every so often you get lucky. So in step 42, it looks like we install the dashboard. Over here in step 43, what is that, the rear end? Oh no, that's an interior door panel. So we do some work on the interior door panels with these decals, which definitely weren't in the kit I had way back when. And same over here, more interior decal work and details with your crank and door pulls. And over here, we get into step 45 and put these last few things that we were just assembling together. Put in some seats in step 46. And we assemble some wheels in step 47. We've got to be getting down to the end now, right? In step 46, or 48, I'm sorry, we are installing the wheels. Oh, come on. There we go. So in step 46, we're going to install the wheels on the chassis, along with a few other decals for detailing, and work on the interior in step that's step 48. Then this over here is step 49, when we put in the rear view mirror and a couple other little details. And over here in step 50, we're going to start mounting that rear part of the body to the chassis. Step 51, we got some more front details, the windshield and windshield surround. Put in the rear window. Step 52, and the side glass. Rear end details, bumperettes, etc. in step 53. Wow, this is still going. Okay, we've got these side bumperettes. Side bumperettes and maybe some other details. No, just side bumperettes. Just side bumperettes in this step here. That's step 54. Brings us over here. We've got some Looks like some foam blocks and some other little details for the bumper and the rear end. Stuff to keep it from getting banged up when you bump something. And here we get to the front end. In step 56, we're installing the headlights into what looks like the radiator support. And we get over here. We got some more front end parts. Really odd looking for me. I'm not quite sure what we're doing here. I think this is some more front stuff. Okay, it looks like when we go to this next step, this is what's holding the hood. Okay, this is some hood front end things in order to be able to hook it into the hinging. And then we get over here on 59, and it looks like we're going to try to figure out how to put that on, or at least look at it. Alright, now we got the hood on, and we go on to step 60. As it's put in the front glass and lights, front bumperettes, and step 61, and other little details from the front end. 62 has us doing a few other details. Okay, it looks like the mirrors, alright. And what in the heck is that? It may be an antenna. I don't think it's the windshield wiper. No, I think it's an antenna. And then over here, we install the windshield wipers. And it's got 3 of them. How about that? And looks like you put in your door handle here on step 65. So this is pretty detailed, as I said before. Alright, that was it. And we're finally down to the last page where it just shows the final little details for the outside. Man, that is the biggest manual I think I have showed on video so far. So I hope you guys are sticking with me. But now you can, well, let me turn this off, maybe that'll help. No, not helping. Okay. Turn it up like this. Anyway, there you go. You get to see what the body is supposed to look like. They're showing some color details and stuff, color plans. You've got a side view and a front and rear view to work with. And that brings us to the end of the Revel Jaguar E-Type. Now, wait a minute. Here's an interesting thing. Up here, they're showing this to be a level 3. Whereas on the box, they say it's a level 5. And I've got a sneaky suspicion this is more a level 5 than a level 3. That's just my opinion. You've seen what you've seen with the instructions and all. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. The one thing I didn't show, though, is the... I didn't show the decal sheet. And holy cow, it's got a whole bunch of really tiny decals there to work with. Show you, zoom in on it a bit. You get all those little details that I was showing you in the instructions, where you put a tiny little decal on something to dress it up. And those are the little decals right there. That kind of stuff's pretty hard for me to work with, because it seems like by the time I get the decal off the paper, it pretty much disappears onto my fingertip somewhere or something. I don't know. I can rarely find them anymore. But I try. We'll see what happens with this one. That's going to be kind of interesting. But yeah, you get a lot of little tiny, whoops, let's not go that far that quick. Get a lot of little tiny decals here to stick on top of stuff. And so you can kind of see the scale. Those are your license plates, so you know how big they are in full scale. Think about how small some of these other things are in comparison to it. So if you can do them right, you can do them up and make them look good. My skill level is probably not going to allow me to do all that well with that stuff. So there you are, my folks. That's your Jaguar E-Type by Revel. And as I mentioned, these are available right now at Ollies. I'm not associated with them in any way. I just like to spread the news when I find something that's at a decent price and can save hobbyists some money here and there when they like to do stuff like this. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it. And thanks for watching.